In order to use KEIL Studio Cloud, we have to go to os.mbed.com, and if you've already set up your login, you should be able to just go to KEIL Studio Cloud like this and put in your login information, and you should see these screens coming up. Now, I have a number of programs already in here, and we have a number of browsers that you might think you can use with KEIL Studio Cloud, but there's only really one. Now, what I've done is right mouse clicked, and I've set this the active project. This is LAB2A, which we're going to be working on first, and this is the actual code here. Now, currently what we're doing is we're running KEIL Studio Cloud using Chrome, and Chrome is the only browser that will work perfectly. Now, some of the things you'll see that if we're working with MBED OS5, all these blue things should be lit up, and we should be able to also connect our devices shown here and select Freedom K64. For instance, if I've got this, I can click on this button here, and I should see it doing all these moves over here where it's building it, it's downloading, it's preparing, it's flashing, and everything works perfectly in KEIL Studio Cloud using Chrome. And right now it says it's running. So if I go and take a look at this here, I should be able to say, hi there, how are you? And everything works fine. Now in lab number 2, part 3 here of the procedure, it says copy this link. So if we right mouse click and go to copy link, we can then move back to KEIL Studio Cloud, where KEIL Studio Cloud is being used with the Chrome browser. So right now you can see that this is empty here. I've got a number of projects from before in here, and what we want to do is bring in this new project that we've copied the link for. So we're going to go up here to File, and we're going to say Clone, and then we're going to right mouse click and we're going to paste the link in here, and it's going to make this the active project. Now, when I say add project, you'll notice all of these projects here are ghosted, and when this link comes in, it will be the only one that will be highlighted because you can only have one active project at a time. Now we can click down here and bring up our main. There's our main code sitting here, and what we have to do at this point is we have to give a build target. So if we click on here, we can search for all our build targets. We can say Freedom-K64, and then it says compatible targets. We will click here, and now we specified our target. We can also go here and say, let's connect our Freedom K64 device, and then go back to this big S here, and we'll see these things lighting up. Let's take a look at our code here. First thing you're going to notice is include mbed.h, unsigned char input. Then we have a while one or forever loop, same thing. This variable input is going to get a character from standard in, and standard in, as you should know, is our keyboard. Then we're going to put that character to standard out. If it happens to be a 0D, we're going to then put a 0A, and then we're going to F-flush the standard out so that all that stuff goes to the screen. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click here, and it's going to build this, and it's going to then put it in a place where we can download. We can right mouse click and we can say show in folder, and then what we can do is actually grab this bin file that's been created and drag and drop. You'll see it's downloaded. But the next thing that we have to do is we have to now press the reset button on the Grove Shield. Once we do that, then the code will be running. To bring up PUTTY, we're going to have to use a browser such as Firefox, and we're going to type in MYAPPS. In the lab, it usually comes up anyway, and it'll come to this login. And when we log in, it's going to authenticate you, and then you're going to search under apps for PUTTY, P-U-T-T-Y. And when you do, you can just click here and launch it. Once you launch PUTTY, you'll find an icon like this somewhere on the screen. You can actually pin it to taskbar if you like, and when we click on it, you're going to see this requester coming up. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to use PUTTY to actually communicate between your PC and your Freedom K64 board. But before you do that, we have to make sure there's one other component. So if we go to File Explorer, make sure that you've got DapLink showing up here. If DapLink does not show up, what that means is it's not going to work, and you should at this point ask your instructor for help. Assuming it's there, the next thing you have to do is switch over from SSH to serial and pick the COM port. Now, COM ports for various computers in the lab are different, so you're going to have to find the one specific for your computer. So we right mouse click, go to Device Manager, and we go down here to where it says Ports, COM, and LPT, and open it up. Now in the lab, you're going to find COM1 and some other COM port. You never use COM1, it's always the other COM port. If COM1 is the only COM port here, then DapLink isn't there. So COM4 in my case will be where DapLink is. is, and that's what I have to do, and I've already changed this to COM4. Make sure this is at 9600. We're going to go to terminal. We're going to make sure that these three are unchecked. The only two that should be checked is auto wrap and use background color erase screen. Once we do that, we also have to make sure we've got force local echo on, and then we can say open. At that point, our PUTTY screen is open, which is a very similar screen to what you used in PRG 1 and 2 as your console application screen. Now let's see what happens when we run this code. And we click inside the screen and I say HI space THERE. Everything is being double typed. Why is it being double typed? Because we forced the local echo on, so when you input the character, it's going to use the putc to put the character, then it's going to echo it, and that's why we're getting double characters. So one of the things that we'd like to do is actually make a quick change. We're just going to go here, and we're going to comment this out, and we're going to then use the hammer again to regenerate a new version. We're going to go up here, we're going to right mouse click, we're going to say show in folder, we're going to drag and drop the new revision back into DapLink here. We're going to hit the reset button on our Grove Shield, and I hit enter and say hi there. I'm only going to get one character for key press because it's not echoing it here and force local echoing on the actual PUTTY screen. So we have an option here. Let's get out of this and let's show you how this works a little bit more. So if we bring this up here and go to terminal again, what we can say is let's force local echo off. And when we open it this time, we're going to need to have putc here to actually have single characters. So if we now hit our button here again to compile it, and if we go here and right mouse click and say show in folder, drag and drop, then once we do, we hit the reset on the Grove Shield and open this up again. What we're going to find is that again, if we say hi there, how are you, then it's going to work properly. Now besides this, we can also do escape left square bracket 2 capital J shift J, and the whole screen will go clear. You can do escape left square bracket 12 semicolon 40 capital H, and it's going to position our cursor in the middle of the screen because this is 24 rows by 80 columns. So it's going to put it on row 12, column 40. So there's various ANSI ESCAPE sequences that will allow us to clear the screen, position the cursor, and even change the text color.